So the first thing that you're going to want to do is, of course, cut your fabric after you've gotten all your measurements and everything like that. So you're not going to need a whole lot for that. We have first our rotary cutter. This is just the one I have. There are some that is kind of flatter on one end, so you're more cutting just one way. This, you can, you know, obviously it's like a full circle. You can cut it kind of however you're comfortable. That's actually why I like it. It's a little bit more freeing if you need to like move your wrist a certain way. So there's that. Scissors, simply because whenever you're cutting, sometimes the rotary cutter doesn't go all the way through the fabric, and it's easier, instead of getting the cutter out again, just to take your scissors and do little snips. It's just faster. Okay, the next thing, let me see if I can get it here, is your ruler. This one I have is, let's see here, 24 by 6 inches. It's actually pretty easy to read. The only thing, it gets a little bit tricky when you're doing like in-betweens, but it's not too bad. Another cool thing about my ruler that I have is it has the seam allowance bit right here. So that can be pretty helpful at times if you need that. All right, and the last thing, of course, would be our cutting mat. Let's see if I can get that to balance there. Let's see, so I have a 24 by 18 mat. You can actually get bigger than this. This is not the biggest that they have. This is just, this one was in my price range for the moment. So this is the one that I have. So yeah, and then pretty much you use this as sort of your weight. You hold your fabric there and then, you know, use the rotary cutter to cut. It's pretty straightforward. So that is that. Okay, so what we are going to do now is we're going to go ahead and start cutting at least a little bit of fabric for our first block. So we're going to go ahead and start with the purple and green, the 5x5 squares. So just something to note, we are going to be cutting kind of on the short side first. The reason you would want to go long ways, the length of it, because this is a continuous, it's not like, you know, cut up by yard, is if you're wanting to do the border where you want as much length as possible. So that's when we will be doing that. Also, this is in 2 layers, so you can cut 2 layers at the same time. When you're doing a bunch of pieces, it definitely goes by much quicker doing it that way. As long as you have everything lined up kind of how you need it, then that should be totally fine. So we're gonna go ahead and get it lined up here. And actually I do have a pretty straight edge here, so that's definitely a good thing. Let me see if I can angle just, whoops, there we go. Just get the full edge there. So basically just gonna get it in the corner. And then you always wanna make sure that you're lined up on both layers here. It is slightly off, so I'm gonna make sure that's lined up. And I mean, you can like physically, like if they're way off, you can physically like take the layers and, you know, redo it. But I usually just kind of sweep it like that, because that helps to do more like subtle movements. The other thing too that gets a little tricky is some of this fabric, especially like these cottons, have a slight stretch to them. So that gets kind of interesting sometimes. Okay, I think I'll go this way just a little bit. I mean, it's not, if it's not 100%, then it's fine, because that's why you have the seam allowance, which we're gonna do a 1/4 seam allowance for the whole thing, which is pretty standard. So, okay, we're actually lined up really good now. So, I'm not gonna worry too much if it's good on the bottom, because we have this white here that we're gonna have to cut off. Depending on your project, you may or may not have to cut it off, but I just kind of feel better cutting it off personally. Yeah, just to not have to deal with it, you know, because you just don't know 100% if your seam allowance is gonna quite make it. So I'd rather be safe than sorry. Okay, so our first cut, we're gonna go ahead and do this long ways here. And it's gonna be at 5 inches. And luckily this is 5 by 5 squares that we're doing. And I'm just doing this on my kitchen table. Some people have like a specific, you know, table that they can do this on. I'm trying to make sure. I think I want to line it up. I'd rather have a little bit too much, I think, than not enough. There we go. So we're just going to start at one end. And you just want to be really careful. Because if you move that ruler accidentally, you know, it could go away wrong. So definitely not a good thing. All right, so what I'm gonna go ahead and do, I'm just gonna do like, yes, nice clean cut. So I'm gonna go ahead and actually toss the rest of this to the side because I'm just gonna do it like a little bit right now. Obviously we need to get at least 2 squares to make our first block. Actually, I'm gonna flip that. Look at the other end here. Okay. Yep, so we know that edge is nice and straight. We just cut that. And my cats are going a little crazy over there. I'm not really sure what they're doing exactly. All right. What I might do is go ahead and cut again on the 5 because it looks like it's sticking out just a little bit. So I'm just gonna cut, there's like a little bit, there's like a little sliver right here of extra that I'm just gonna go ahead and try to even out. Kind of get rid of that weird bit there. And that was just from, you know, the store not cutting it 100%. Okay, yeah, that's pretty good. So what I'm actually gonna go ahead and do, so I can have a straight edge on the bottom here, and also I kind of want to get rid of this white, I'm actually gonna go ahead and turn it. And really with this, I just kind of pick, you know, any straight line here. You can really be anywhere on there. I just want to cut this bit off. So I just kind of try to line it up with the color. Snip that right off because I don't want to, you know, not cut it off and then think I have all this to work with when I really don't. There we go. Yeah, just toss that aside. Okay, and then since we're already going this way, we're going to remain this way because we're going to cut 5 inches across this way. So let's line it back up here. Yep, looks pretty good. And we're going to just do the same thing, but we're going across this way this time. Okay, so I'm actually only going to cut that because since we are double layered, we have our 2 squares here. So that's that. And I just want to make sure that it's all going to work out before I cut too much. Because then, you know, if you cut a lot and it doesn't work, it's like, well, you know, that's not a good deal. So there's that one. I'm going to go ahead and grab my purple fabric. And what's nice is whenever you get, you know, like I have my strip here, I already know that it's 5 inches one way, so it'll be easy just to do another 5 inches the other way. And also what'll make it nice is that's the only thing I'm doing with that fabric. I'm just doing 5 by 5 squares, like nothing else. So that'll be nice and easy. Oh, let me just see what the straightest edge would be. I always kind of want to start with straightest as I can. It might not be perfect. This is actually pretty straight. It's like the other one. That's not too bad. Might be slightly off, but like I said, we've got the 1/4 inch seam allowance. So if we are a little off, it's, you know, not the end of the world. And you could go ahead and cut this white off, like off the whole thing, you know, at the beginning if you wanted to, but I kind of like to just cut it piece by piece because it's just easier to work with that way. Pretty much the smaller amount of fabric to work with, the better. Oh Lord, okay, this one actually might be a little more off than I was thinking. Okay, so what I might do, I kind of do this trick when I'm noticing that it's just off too much. I'll try, let's see. Ooh, how much are we gonna be off? Wow. Because yeah, the way you can tell is I've got it lined up on the bottom, but I don't know if you can see, we got it lined up here, but you can kind of see that excess right there. So that's off by a decent amount. And I don't want to start off on a bad foot. So, because if we cut it, like if we measure 5 here, that's automatically going to be really off. And yeah, that would make me a little nervous to have to do it that way. So I'm going to put this, wow, that is like a whole inch. Okay. I think what I'm going to do it most of the way, not 100%, but I kind of want to get as close as I can on the top. Let's see here. Kind of want to get as close as I can on the top there, so I don't have to cut too much off on the bottom. But we'll see. Gotta put you back there. Okay. I might start down and go up. Oh boy, well, maybe not. It's just definitely more comfortable. Yeah, just figure out whatever's more comfortable for you and do that, because sometimes you have to stop, move your hand to help hold down the ruler, and then continue. There we go. So we should have, I am gonna go ahead and just, boop. All right. So we should have a nice straight edge now, you know, in theory, right? So let's line it back up, make sure. Yep, looks pretty good. Not 100%, but you know what? It's closer than it was for sure. Yeah, pretty good, pretty good. Okay, so now we're gonna go ahead and do our 5 inches in width. Now let's go ahead and put that. I'm gonna stop, move my hand. Because I'm kind of notorious for cutting things crooked. Not as much anymore. I've gotten better at it the more I've done it, but ooh, for a while there. And it's not difficult. It's just, there's some things you just kind of don't think about until you do it. And yeah, I don't know. I just got a little off there for a while. All right, so we got our 5. And then I'm gonna do the same thing as I did on the green. I'm gonna go ahead and cut this white off. So well, okay, lovely. So I'm gonna grab that. And then again, we're just gonna line it up with the, where the color meets the white. This one I just kind of eyeball, I don't, you know, because even the print is a tiny bit off depending on where you look, so. Okay, there we go. It's pretty close. All right, that's done. We can throw that away. Oh, you know what? Well, let's see here. That might be all right, but I think I'm going to cut just a little bit more off because I'm seeing that there's some holes here. Just trying to. I actually think I will use the grid this time just to make 100% sure. And I just kind of stick it somewhere. Just kind of eyeball the ends and make sure it's lined up pretty good. Yeah, that should be pretty close anyway. Yeah, I'd kind of just rather take off little bits that I'm unsure of and then have to like deal with them. Okay, there we go. So now we're gonna go ahead and once again do a couple more of our 5x5 squares. Let's see here. All right, line it up with the 5. Okay. Sure. Oh, I felt a little bump in there. Yeah, I didn't cut there. All right. So this is an instance where I actually, since like if it's on the end, I would just use the cutter. But since it's in the middle, I'm actually gonna get my scissors and just cut that. There we go. Okay, and now we've got our 5x5 purple squares. And then again, we'll have our little strip for if we need to cut, well, not if, we will need to cut them. And yeah, I do have, I don't know which one. Oh, yeah, there we go. We have our little dots here, but the seam allowance should take care of that. I cut them off on the other side, but I didn't realize it was that prominent on there. There is a little line for the 1/4 of an inch. So if you need to check something out, I could always lay this down and lay my thing over it and see whether it's gonna cover that up, which it will. Yeah, it'll be all right. So I don't know if I can kind of show here. See if it'll focus. So like this whole thing is 1/2 inch, but you can see my little dots there. If you cut that in half, obviously that's the 1/4 inch. So if my little dots are within that, I mean, my seam allowance is gonna accommodate. So it should be all right, which is good news. That one thing I can be sure about now, which is good. It's kind of peace of mind. All right, so we got our 2 squares there and our 2 squares there. We're gonna call it quits there for a bit. Go ahead and move on to our black. Let's see here. And unfortunately, the black is a lot of fabric, so that's gonna be interesting dealing with that. The white is only like 2 yards, but this is like 4 yards that I'm dealing with here, so yippee. Oh yeah, that side's jagged, so we're gonna start off on the smoother side. I don't know, this fabric just feels different. It is all cotton, but it's just a bit of a different type, I guess. So kind of interesting. Okay, and then I always try to have the part that folds toward the top. So I'm gonna flip this over. Just makes it a little bit easier so you're not like having to deal with the fold until you absolutely have to. Oh boy, yeah, so this is gonna be really off. We're really gonna have to line it up better than this for sure. Okay. So it looks like this crease, like I said, is a little bit off. So don't ever go by like your crease up there, because it might not always be 100% accurate to like where you'd actually want to crease it. So we are definitely going to have to do some lining up. And luckily this is just black on black. Like there's no extra little border saying, you know, this is where it's from. There is a little bit of fringe though on the bottom. So I might go ahead and end up cutting that off anyway, because that is actually, well, that's about 1/4 inch right there. And obviously you can't sew through fringe. It has to have something to like hold on to. So yeah, I'm probably gonna cut that off, kind of just like I did the other. But I believe the other was like 1/2 inch, so we won't be cutting off quite as much, but. All right, so this I am going to physically pick up because it is off by quite a lot. At least it kind of looks like it is. So I'm just going to kind of try to line up. There's like a little white line on the bottom of this fringe here that I'm kind of just eyeballing. Oh boy, let's see here. Yeah, this is definitely a time where you will want to probably pick up your fabric. Okay, and honestly, upon looking at this, I think what I'm actually going to do, because it's having trouble staying, I think because it's actually a little more jagged than I was kind of thinking. So I'm going to go ahead and do that trick and just cut like a little sliver off just to kind of line it up. So I'm going to go ahead, trying to figure out, let me get it as close to this 1 inch mark as possible so I'm not cutting off a ton. Because yeah, it's quite a lot there. I'm gonna hold like my whole arm down here. I don't feel like that one part cut. Oh, what is happening? Okay, there's there's one part, I don't know if I have something stuck in my blade or what is happening, because I feel like, oh yeah, okay. There are several spots. Felt like a bump or something. So I'm just gonna go through. Got a little uneven at the end, but that won't be the end of the world. Just even that up. Yeah. That's the same amount of distance too, so there must be something up with the blade. Okay. Kind of strange, but you know. It is what it is. Okay, this. Actually, I think I'm going to try to get the cutter because my scissors, I'm not sure if I can get it. Wait. There we go. Okay, got it. So let's throw this away. Well, I say throw it away. We definitely will throw that bit away. But depending on the size of, you know, your scraps and stuff, sometimes you want to save it. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and pull it back. We are lined up pretty good now. Oh yeah, it does look much better. Okay, so we've got it up. We got it lined up pretty good again. This is the one where we have 3 different sizes that we're having to cut. So probably what we're gonna have to do, this is gonna be kind of interesting. I'm probably gonna do 3 different like sections. So there's a 2.5 by 5 and then a 1.75 by 5 and then a 1.75 by 16.5. So I'm gonna go ahead, I think I might just go like, well, let's see here, what do I want to do? Smallest to largest maybe? Yeah, possibly. All right, so I'm kind of debating here what I want to do because they are kind of odd measurements. Okay, now the half won't be so bad because there's definitely like a mark for that. The 0.75, I mean, there is a mark for that as well. It's just going to be a little bit trickier. So I actually might not do the painter's tape thing. I will do the painter's tape with the sewing machine though, and I can kind of show you like when I do that. To get the fabric kind of in the right spot. Let me bring it back over just a little bit because not that much. I feel like I really got, oh boy, this is kind of difficult. Okay, there we go. That's probably good. So I think actually what I'm going to do, I'm going to do the 2 5-inch ones first. So we'll have like a 5-inch strip and another 5-inch strip. Not going to make it a little easier. And then we will cut them going the other way. And again, there's the fringe on that, so that is something else I'm going to have to cut off. 5 and 5. Yeah, that is going to be interesting having 3 different sizes, because with my other quilt, it was like everything was the same size. So, well, not everything, but most of my like blocks were the same size, so I didn't have to like worry about it too much. So actually what I'm going to do, I'm going to pick up my ruler. I'm not going to separate anything just yet, because I've already got it kind of where I have it exactly where I need it. So I'm actually just going to pick up my ruler and then go to the 10-inch mark and just cut another 5-inch strip while I'm already here. It just saves a little bit of time, and then, you know, you don't have to pick up your ruler again and move your fabric and, you know, stuff like that. So it just saves time for me. I'm wondering, I don't know, it doesn't seem like the cutter has anything on it. But yeah, I feel it every time. Every few inches or so. Alright, so there's my 5-inch and my 5-inch. And then, let's see here. Now I'm trying to debate on the 16.5, how I want to go about doing that. That one I'm going to come back to, I think. Yeah, let's go ahead. I am going to go ahead and separate these. I'm wondering. Oh no, it's, I think I'm wondering if it's getting caught up at the same places. It's actually not, which is very strange. I'm like still puzzling over that. I didn't do it with my other fabric. It's just been with the black. So, and I mean, and it feels like it's smooth. Like there's literally nothing that it can be holding up on there. So very strange. Okay, so there's one. And then we will separate this one. Okay, oh, one more. All right, so that's that. I'm gonna just put this to the side for a second. There we go. All right, so now, before we do any more cutting, I'm gonna go ahead and cut off that fringe like I was talking about. So I'm gonna flip this. And I don't know if you know what I mean by fringe, but it's like, let's see if the camera will focus here. There we go. It's like this little bit here. So when, you know, you're sewing, like obviously that's not going to be able to cling to anything. So we have to cut that off. And like I said, the 1/4 inch, if we had like a really large seam allowance, like that wouldn't be a big deal, but I'm pretty sure our seam allowance is like exactly that amount of fringe. So that would be very risky to keep that there. Not a good idea. So yeah, let's get rid of it. And luckily there's a little white line that I'm kind of going by on here to help me line it up just right. I still think I cut it kind of a little off at the end. Didn't I? Oh no, there it goes. Okay, cool. So that's off of there. Take a look at it. Yep, looks good. While we're at it, we're going to cut the fringe off the other one just to get that done. Alrighty, let's see here. And again, I'm just going to go by the little white line that it kind of has there. Yeah, this is actually a large amount of fringe. I've seen, of course, some fringe before, and I don't feel like it was like that much, but I feel like the other side doesn't have as much fringe, so like that's kind of odd. Okay, well now we're in this position. We're gonna go ahead. Again, we're starting with the open end on this end, so we don't have to deal with the seam just yet. Okay, let's see here. So that's that. And then we are going to go, let's see, 2.5. So let's do, and actually what I think what I'm going to do is, well, you know what? No, we'll keep it separate just to be safe. Okay. So we're going to go ahead and do a 2.5 by 5 and okay, we need 6 of these. So we're going to have to do, since we're got doubles here, we're going to do 3 of them. All right. So 2.5, we'll line it up. This doesn't have a very obvious halfway mark. I don't really know why that is, to be honest. That would be easier. So you kind of have to make sure. So there's obviously like 8 sections, you know, 8 little. So you have to just go, okay, 4 over, that's the half. So seems like a little odd to me that they wouldn't pronounce that line. I might actually go in and like make those like more bold or something. I don't know. I just might consider it, you know. I think it might be a little easier. Personally. Okay, so we had a little bump right at the beginning there. I don't know what that is. That is so strange. Okay, so let's see here. Yeah, making sure I'm lined up there. Okay, so that's my first. I'm gonna go ahead and just leave it, and again, I'm gonna do, okay, so we got, that's 2.5. So then we are going to be doing what, 5? You know what? I don't want to get it wrong. I'm not the greatest at math, so maybe I should go ahead and refigure it every time. Just to be 100% safe. With the halves and quarters and, you know, whatever, it gets a little like, maybe we don't want to risk it. Okay. 2.5. Ooh, let's go up further. I'm like such a habit. I have the roller down like way too far. I just like to have it kind of lined up at both ends just to make sure it's gonna be good all the way down. So. Boy, oh boy. Yeah, I'm gonna have to figure out what's going on with that because that's pretty annoying. I'm not gonna lie. Okay, so we've got 4. We gotta do 1 more. So we have our, and another great thing about solid fabrics is whenever you sew, you don't have to worry about, you know, oh, is it right side up? Well, it's solid, so it doesn't matter. It looks the same on both sides. So very, very convenient. Okay, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Yep, okay, so we'll add that to our little pile over there. So I am gonna go ahead and have that be its own thing. I don't know if it's really gonna matter in the end, but you know, just for this. Okay, this got a little bit off when I flung it over there, so I'm gonna line it back up the best I can here. All right, simple enough. Okay. Yeah, you can probably tell I'm a perfectionist. Gets me in trouble sometimes. Okay. So now we're gonna do, we got our 2.5, now we're gonna do our 1.75. Yeah, so that will be 2 away from the end there and 2 away from the end here. Yep, my arm is always in the way. Sorry about that. Oh, these are thin little strips. Alrighty, let's see. How many do we need? We need 4 of these. Yes, okay, so we'll only have to do this twice. Good. All right, so we got 2 there. And then we're gonna go ahead and bring it down and do 2 more. 1.75. I know this is something I'm gonna have to keep looking at the sizes because they're so strange. Very precise. My other quilt, I definitely didn't have to worry about such precise sizes. They were just, you know, whole numbers, like just to make it easy. I might have had some halves in there, but yeah, not as much. So, okay, now we've got those. Let's add that to our pile. We've got 4 of those. Okay, and then let's see here. We need our 1.75 by 16.5. Once I know like how it's gonna go, I think it's gonna go smoother. But for right now, I'm like, ooh, the cutting is definitely, I mean, all of it's gonna take a while, but definitely the cutting situation is gonna be very interesting to say the least. I have a lot to cut. So, all right, that's lined up pretty good now. So let us attempt here to do 1.75 inches this way. So if I go about it that way, I won't be able to get as many strips. So I might have to just suck it up and go about it the other way, doing the 16. I mean, it would be, I think, a big enough piece where it'd be all right. Okay, so what is it again? 16.5. Yeah, okay, 16.5. Now we can cut. I always like double and triple check. Because once you make the cut, there's no going back. Okay, this is where I'm gonna. Okay. Yeah, of course. I'm gonna have to use the scissors. Looks like there's quite a bit connected here. And all right, 16 inches. So I'm gonna go ahead, because that's the last of this. So I'm gonna kind of pull that back over. Alrighty, so now that we've got our 16 and a half, make sure, yeah. First of all, I'm gonna go ahead and cut off the fringe, get that out of the way. So we do not have to deal with that. Yeah, I'm just so looking forward to having to cut the fringe off of all of this. Oh, I love it. All right, that's pretty close. So we're gonna go ahead. Man, it even does it when I'm cutting the fringe. We need to line it up this way and cut our, luckily we need to only do 2 of these, so a 1.75 again. So now we're going to 1.75 this way. 0.75, there's one, and whoop, that moved quite a lot. Okay, there we go. And since this is doubled, we will have 2 already. Maybe there's something on my mat that I'm just like not aware of. I don't know. Very strange. Very strange indeed. Okay, my scissors are way over in Timbuktu here. Let me go ahead and finish cutting. Yeah, and I feel like the iron, or well, I should say the fabric, does not do very well with the iron. At least this black fabric. I don't know. It seemed a little odd to me. This one, this strip is just a tiny bit longer, so let me double check that. Which one is actually the length? Oh, let me move this. Actually, let me measure it that way because I forget the ruler doesn't quite. Okay, the longer one is the 16. Yeah, let me do my seam allowance thing and make sure that that's going to be okay. Let's see here. Oh, oops, my alarm was going off. Okay, let's see. No, we should take the other one out from behind it. Look here. Back up. Let's see if we can do it right there. Yeah, I mean, it'll be obviously closer, but it's not too bad. Yeah, I'm not so sure about ironing that black. Kind of changed the color a little bit. Maybe I went a little too hot on it, but I've just never had any problems with it before. Huh, yeah, got a little discolored, so. But once we iron all of it, it'll all be the same color, so I guess if we want to think of it that way. We just got, let me feel the mat here. I don't know. So strange. Like it doesn't feel, I guess we'll see if it happens with the white. All right. Let's see. That looks like a pretty good edge. let me look at the other edge. Ooh, ooh, let's see. Yeah, this edge is better. Okay. Alrighty. So with this one, yeah, it's another 5-inch, which is helpful. So you can get things that are called like charm packs, and everything is already cut into, I believe it is actually 5 by 5 squares, and that is easier because then once you need the 2.5, you know, you just cut those in half, and you know, so it would definitely go faster. But you will save money going this way, but it is a lot of cutting, so that's definitely a downside. But you know, it is what it is. So. Okay, we're gonna get this lined up here. Oh, this one feels very stretchy. Oh goodness. We'll just see how that goes. Stretch is a very interesting thing for sure. Just can get a little tricky sometimes. And of course the black is stretchy as well. I just, for some reason, I'm noticing it a little bit more on the white. It's a nice fabric. It does feel nice and like thick, you know, for a white fabric, which I wanted. But I'm a little concerned about the stretch, but you know, we'll just see. This one's tricky. Yeah, this is definitely off. I'm always, you know, giving it the benefit of the doubt. Like, oh yeah, we won't have to cut any excess off. It's pretty straight. I mean, which it's not bad, I feel like, but it definitely could be straighter. So, but once we get that straight edge, it's pretty smooth sailing. It's just getting that there, you know, to kind of start out with is a little bit tricky. Okay, so I think, yeah, I'm gonna try to get it as close to that one as possible so we're not having to cut off too much. Okay, let me get it back down here. Okay. Yeah, this one's, I don't think quite as bad as the black. Yeah, I feel like we had to cut off a little bit more for the black. You know, and what I don't understand is like Walmart has those things where, you know, you put your scissors in the slot and it goes, you know. But other fabric stores don't have that for some reason. And I'm thinking, wouldn't that be better? I mean, maybe not. I could be totally wrong on that. Like maybe it's a terrible invention and it doesn't work, you know, as well as I'm thinking, but yeah, that is so frustrating. It's doing it on this one too, so I'm gonna have to figure that one out. Like what exactly is happening when it's skipping like that? Maybe I'm just dumb and just don't know what that could be. Well, the one thing is for sure, I don't know what that could be. I don't know about the dumb part, but sometimes, you know, I don't notice things when they're right in front of my face, so it could be, oh wow, you are getting my arm. Oh Lord, probably been getting a lot on my arm during all this. Maybe I should sit closer down here. Ooh, if my cord can stretch that far. Okay, there we go. Oh, alrighty. So now we're lined up again. Then we're going to, or well, I say lined up again. We're lined up, period. I guess we weren't really 100% lined up before. Alright, so I'm going to bring it back down. Okay. There we go. Maybe just a little. So now this is another one where we're going to do 5 inches this way. So I'm going to grab this and make sure that's correct. Yes, 5 inches. Okay, good. 5 and 5. Yep, and yep. actually gonna try something real quick. Okay, no, it still does it. Never mind. Oh well, it was worth a try. I might try my other blade on it after this and just see, you know, if it's just the blade, which this is a new blade, so that would be kind of frustrating. Like, is it sticking somehow? Like, I don't know. All right. Whoa. I'm about to fall over. There we go. Cut off this. Whoa. Just kind of stabbed it just then. It's nice fabric though. Okay. So since that's all we're going to do with our white, I'm going to go ahead and kind of toss that over there. So now, once again, I'm going to cut off. Now this fringe isn't quite, well, yeah, it's not near as much as the other. This one just has a tiny bit. This is the amount that I'm used to seeing. But we do have our holes on this as well. And I don't want those to show up. There's 2 sets of holes here. Little bitty holes. So I think I'm going to at least cut off 1 set of those holes because our seam allowance should take care of the other set. So that shouldn't be a big deal. But just, it almost kind of looks like when you stick a pin in something and it just kind of leaves that little mark. Kind of what it reminds me of. It is very windy outside. It kind of almost sounded like somebody's trash can was blowing away. I could be wrong on that, and I hope I am, but yeah, that didn't sound good. So, at least I know it's not my trash can, because my trash can is in the backyard, and this sounded like it was in the front yard. So, alright, scissors, cut off that little bit that didn't cut. I don't know, maybe I'm in denial. Maybe that happened with the green and purple. I don't think so. Like, I think this is a new development, which is so strange. Okay, so since we've already got it going this way, we're just going to continue on that. Actually, you know what? Maybe I should go ahead and cut more off of that because these are the really short strips. Let me check my seam allowance on it again. Let's see here. It will barely get it, I think. Well, I think we're just going to trust the process with that one because it's very close. If I cut off just a tiny bit more, it would definitely get it. So I know I say trust the process and then I'm like, oh no, never mind. Let's cut off a tiny more. Yeah. Well, you know how it goes. Well, I don't know if you know, but that's just how I am, so. All right, yeah, just to be safe. I don't think it's gonna make or break us if we cut that little bit off. Didn't quite cut all the way through. Okay, we should definitely be good now with what we have here. All right, throw that over there. Okay, so we're gonna bring it back up to where we need it. And then this one, again, we are only doing 1 3/4 inches. Yes, okay. Good. And then this one we do need, 6. So we're gonna do this 3 times. Let's see. No, this is 2.5. Oh goodness, I'm glad I checked that. Okay, sorry, I'm getting a little tired. Let's see here. Surprise, surprise. Working nights and I'm tired. Okay. 2.5. Yes. Which is funny because I should know about this one because this is the only thing that we're doing with the white. I would have been very upset with myself if I got that wrong. All right, scissors. Well, I almost didn't bring my scissors in here, but I'm glad I did, I guess. Okay, so there's 2. We're doing, whoop, bring that back up, another 2.5. That is kind of my fear. There's so many different sizes to have to worry about. Getting one of them wrong. Yeah, I should have put the camera up here like a long time ago, because you probably have gotten a lot of my arm thus far. Yeah. Okay. And then we will snip that. This has been in the same area each time. Interesting. Okay. 2.5. La-di-da. Okay. Oh, nope, not quite there. There we go. Yep, pretty close. Okay. Very curious. Okay, there's those. Finally, we have 6 of our little strips here. Our 2.5 by 5s. Alrighty, and that is all of our fabric. I'm gonna go ahead and kind of stack all this up and then put it all back out here to see. Oh, okay, I got those things mixed up, so I was like, why are those so much smaller? Oh, yes. Because they are a different strip. Yes. And I think it's an optical illusion. Those look bigger. Yeah, maybe a tiny bit wider on that one, but it's not too bad. Okay, 1, 2, 3. I'm missing one. Yep, it's still here. 4. All right, and then we've got our 1 strip. Oh gosh, did I put that other strip with the other? Actually, the question is, did I cut another strip? Well, I don't know. Maybe I didn't. All right, well, I will figure it out. But anyway, that is all of our pieces. Oh, my bad. No, it's not. I lied. Okay, so anyway, we've got our 2 green, 2 purple. We've got our 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of the 2.5 by 5. We got our 6 white of the 2.5 by 5. We've got, yeah, a little bit of discoloring there, but we'll have to just iron the rest of it and make it all the same color. That's just what we're going to say with that. So we've got our, let's see, 4 strips of those. Those are the 1.75 by 5. And then I guess I only have 1 strip of that. So I'm going to have to cut another strip apparently. But anyway, that is it for now for the cutting.